Hi, how's it going?
I'm Andy,
I'm SamiJo.
and we are here to discuss our first chapter and the shenanigans that have happened in the drawing of blood of the beginning of our duel.
Oh yeah, first blood has been drawn. You left me alone with that woman.
You killed somebody outright. Somebody I had plans for. And not only did I have plans for him, you made him some 19-year-old punk when he's supposed to be the heir apparent, like a big, getting ready to take over the family business. And oh no, he's just some punk kid that I just offed.
You offed him?
You offed him.
Well, you just said that I just offed. So I thought maybe you were taking credit because we don't know who's killed him yet.
That's a lie. And I plead the fifth. I plead the fifth.
I mean, Cynthia could have killed him, but she very well could have not, too.
Yeah, she could have gone and drunk away her sorrows, but I don't know. Is she 19? Is she eligible for drinking? Or any sort of shenanigans to quell the heartbreak that she felt from her pretend boyfriend?
Well, this is kind of set back 1940s-ish, maybe.
1940s-ish?
I would think so.
I don't know about that. Because, there's any number of things we can do with it, and there's any number of ways we can spin the story. I actually had a pretty cool idea I wanted to do, but I'm not going to tell you about it so you don't use it against me. But it involves, it not being the 1940s and other things.
Oh, okay. I see how it is.
But no, so you definitely threw me for a loop when you killed Braden, because I had actually, before you killed him, he was who Bolton. He was who Bolton was going to go meet, and that was going to be his next client, which was going to spill us into the actual murder mystery part of the things going on, or at least the Lovecraftian, the cult and mysterious secret societies type stuff. And you just cut that off right at the head.
Well, I kind of thought that when I left the door to be, open to see who would come through, that it would be more Sherlock Holmes, where the damsel in distress comes in and we get the case and then we take it on and she tells us all of her woes and you decide to keep me on because I'm really good at talking to people and, but then you just left me in a room with her all by myself and you had already solved her case. So I was like, well, fuck.
Well, first and foremost, her case was literally a case that private eyes have to solve all the time. Is my man cheating on me? Is my wife cheating on me? That type of stuff, right? Mm-hmm. So I figure kind of a slough case to kind of open the door into things. But it happens to be one of the members of the richer families and more prominent families in the area. Mm-hmm. Okay, so that leaves the door open there. There were doors open all over. The world was your oyster. You could have eaten at any restaurant. But you decide to eat at Murder or Us. And so...
Well, that's what happens in noirs. People die.
Well, see, and since you mentioned it, that's something I was kind of curious about. What part of Lovecraft noir has a Sherlock Holmes feel to it? Just curious.
Well, just the idea of having, how you get your case where you show up. They all kind of do that in that kind of Sherlock Holmes way. The dame walks in, your femme fatale, and, she gives you the case, or you walk into her home and, that sort of thing. That's usually the kind of opening that you get.
Yeah. Well, I guess I can see that in some aspects of things. But it's not like that's gone, though. Heck, no. She could have rehired you to do the same thing, but you didn't take it that route.
Well, she could still rehire both of us to clear her of Braden's murder.
Well, I guess she could do that, but then we have another issue with the box that was found. See, because I had another plan for the box that was found. Mm-hmm. But it wasn't the box. I was gonna have some monster or something dead in his office that Roddy had found, and what you gave me instead was an artifact type, or I chose to use it as an artifact type of thing. And this is how I'm bringing the cult or secret societies into the story. Now, unfortunately, I don't have any push on that one because you get to decide where that goes from there after the lights went out.
Oh yeah, I've already sent you my 4 pages. You haven't read them yet.
I
though.
have not read them, and that's going
Slacker.
like honestly, I'm dreading it. I'm seriously dreading it because every time I try to do something, you throw a wrench in my works so far.
Well, it's not very easy to, I think it will be interesting to see how this does play out since we're not allowed to work together to make the story work.
Yep.
We just have to build the story on
Yep.
the information we're given at the time.
Yep.
And obviously both of us see things going different ways or interpret things in ways that take the story much different places than the other intended.
Yeah. No, and that's a thing. I think at the moment I'm kind of tying my hands up a little bit, and I might need to kind of back off on it a little bit because I've always been a big fan of world building, and unfortunately I'm doing all the world building. I mean, you've done a little bit, but like I established, the families, and now we've got the secret societies and stuff like that. And I think if I quit focusing so much on that, I might be able to throw some kinks into your works as opposed to, just leaving you in the room with somebody. So I might try to back off on the world. I really like world building. I really like it. I like to establish a real, juicy environment that people can sink their teeth into. And because now granted, I'm not as what's the word I'm looking for? I'm not as intricate or detailed as say like Tolkien or somebody like that, but I do enjoy their world building,
Mm-hmm.
And so I think I'm focusing too much on that personally. So I think if I can get away from trying to world build, I might have a fair chance in a duel against you.
Well, there's going to have to be a certain amount of world building because it's a Lovecraftian noir. So
yeah,
it can't play by the same rules as just the regular world. So there's going to have to be a certain amount.
Yeah. No, I get that. So there's that going on. Kind of curious though as to what you had planned for her sister, like because I could see a few different options with the sister there. Especially considering, like, I could totally just throw some kinks in your works. Like, oh, she's here, she's alive. Hi. Now that part's over. Mwahaha.
That would completely defeat, like, my whole purpose for even knowing you.
Yes, it would. and it would be a massive blow in this duel, I think. But I could also do a few different things with the sister if I so chose. But I don't think the sister should be brought in just yet, personally. Like, I think we are way too early in the story for the sister to show up, especially since she's been missing for, I don't remember how long. I don't think even established how long.
I haven't established how long she's been missing, but I thought she was a good, like, plot device for something for my character to be looking for.
Yeah, I could see that.
Especially since I assumed that we were going more like, 1930s, 1940s, and I had to have a reason for my female character to be trying to get a job and do those things.
Well, I mean, that's in today's current era. No. I mean, like, women are still trying to establish themselves. I think. Yeah, maybe. Well, it honestly depends because, like in the 1930s and 40s, yeah, women kind of had to establish themselves a little better. But I mean, if we decided, or I decided, or you decided that we weren't in the 1940s, so you're trying to write 1940s noir, and I could say pull some shenanigans that we are not in the 1940s, and maybe we're in like the current era. And you're just a chick with a chip on her shoulders because guys have done her wrong or something like that, trying to establish.
Oh, so I'm just like super emo.
Well, not even emo. You've had bad luck with like guy bosses or trying to get into male spaces or something like that. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So she feels the need to be more aggressive, and that's like a thing that is with women, is that when women are in male spaces, they tend to have to be more aggressive because they're in a male space. And generally speaking, the women who are in traditionally male spaces have to be more aggressive to assert themselves within that space. Like, I think there's studies that have been proven on that. Like, high-ranked CEO women are just as aggressive, if not more aggressive, than their male counterparts because they have to be, because there's that stigma about women, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I could definitely see that being like a thing that she's working on. So I mean, and that's been a thing since the 30s. So I mean, like it could still happen in the 30s, and it could still happen in current era. I kind of had a cool idea, and I can't tell my cool ideas because then she might use them against me.
Well, yeah, no, we can't give any like future hints because I don't even know what your response to the 4 pages I've sent you is going to be.
Yep. And I don't want to tell you what I have planned just in case you try to work around it.
The only thing that we could say is definitely in the future is that we are going to be bringing in some witnesses or, some sort of side characters that will be other writers in the North Dakota community. And they will be doing brief spotlights where they will give you their 3-page, eyewitness account of what happened. And then Andy and I will have to play off that into our story as well. Because you have to remember that the story has to make sense. Like, I just can't decide that aliens come down and that's how that happened. Because it wouldn't make sense. Well, I mean, it could.
I was going to say, you could, just because it's Lovecraft noir doesn't mean it can't be aliens.
No, I get that, but you get what I'm saying.
No, I do get what you're saying.
Like, I can't, we have to take the information given to us, and then we have to play off of that as well. Yeah.
And I can't give her any ideas, because then she might have a counter or a riposte to me, and I don't want that to happen. Because in my opinion, I've got her on the ropes right where I want her.
Oh, do you? Yeah. I've apparently killed off a big character for you.
He was going to be an important, character that led into things. Because he was going to keep the Cynthia Caldwell involved in it and send Bolton back to her. Because she's stalking him or something like that, okay? But no, he's dead. Because of the Little Mermaid. Because of the little frickin' mermaid. He's dead. Supposedly, potentially.
I really do think that people took the wrong moral from that story. Like, I don't get she just loved him so much and it was, it was noble of her to die. No, fuck him. Mm-hmm. Like, seriously, every step she took was like walking on glass.
Yeah.
She had her tongue cut out. Yeah. She really did. Like, did you read the story, right?
She not, but I've been told.
Outside his room on a pillow like a dog.
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, I'm going to marry you. But then the other girl came along and he was like, oh, wait, just kidding. But we'll keep you around as like a pet. Well, see, and it's like, that's a human.
Yeah. No,
I was appalled. And I really just think that it should be mentioned more often that she should have stabbed him.
Well, and see, but that completely ignores the actual moral of the story. And the moral of that story is no matter how much you love somebody isn't going to make them love you back. And you will lose yourself along the way if you try to force that love to happen.
I never really thought about it that way. I just always thought of it as...
the guy's an asshole and he should die. Yes. That is the moral of the story, everybody.
He's an asshole.
Guys are assholes and they should die.
Well, no, but there's something, nobler than yourself. This true love that you would sacrifice everything for.
Well, yeah. And
I just, if he'd even treated her semi-decently, I wouldn't have been as offended.
And I could see that, I suppose. I mean, he did put her through the ringer from what I understand. And granted, like I said, I haven't read the story. I really should brush up on my Grimm, but...
That's not Grimm.
That's not Grimm?
That's Hans Christian.
Oh, Hans Christensen. Yeah. Sorry. You mentioned it, and I have no clue what you're talking about. I am a slacker. But, no, and I need to brush up on it. And honestly, I should probably brush up on my Grimm anyways. But like a lot of those fairy tales from back then, like they were rather dark, right? But they had actual prominent messages, unlike, for instance, the Disney version.
Well, I think
You know?
he was actually in love with another guy who he couldn't be with, and that was kind of the actual story behind the Little Mermaid thing. But
Well, that takes it for a twist then, don't it?
yeah, no, it does. And so, I mean, I totally could see where he was, like pining for this guy that he could never be with because, he had to be gay back then.
Yeah.
And so, like, I totally get that. But I mean, like, and I will 100% admit that, like, not everything that happened to her is his fault. She definitely, like, she chose, like, the Sea Witch explained the rules of how this was going to go. I'm going to cut out your tongue. Every step you take is going to be super painful.
People do crazy things for love.
I know. And if he doesn't marry you, you're going to be sea foam.
Yeah.
Like, and she's like, no, okay, cool. Like, there's also a moral in there about, like, just seeing somebody once and being like, I'm going to love you forever. And, like, dying on that hill.
Yeah. Well, no, and definitely there is. And unfortunately, it looks like you killed my character on his hill. So I'm having to work around that, which is why I brought Rodimer in to give us a jumping off point.
Or Robbie, as your brother keeps calling him.
Yes. Robbie. Apparently, and this is an issue I noticed, and I'm going to apologize now. I need to learn to read better because I'm not so good with the read of things, and like there's a lot of things like I'm doing okay. I feel like I'm doing okay in establishing the story, and like I don't think that my readings of the story have been a terribly big issue. But if you've noticed, my accent gets kind of thicker, or Bolt's accent gets kind of thicker as the sections progressed, and I kind of jump in and out of an accent with him.
Well, considering that we've admitted that we are fully amateurs, and
amateurs for days.
This is really just fun.
Yeah.
But I guess we will see you guys next time on Dueling Pens, and
hopefully we won't, or the story won't go all sorts of catawampus, because I'm about to go read her a few pages, and I left it on a pretty solid cliffhanger. Hopefully she doesn't just go, oh, the power's out. Hopefully there's something there for us to sink our teeth into. But we'll see next time on Dueling Pens.
We'll see you Thursday.
If you enjoyed this production,
remember to like and subscribe.
And don't forget to follow us on social media,
which you can find linked in our bio.
We'll see you next time
on Dueling Pens.
Bum, bum, bum.
I can't believe you left me in the room with that woman.